All right, greetings and welcome to Bloom from Within Love. It's me, Bloomy, and I know it's a little bit dark. I actually just got off of, I said I would be sharing this information with you guys, so I just got off of a dating site that I'm a part of. And so they have this live feature, and so it was really fun tonight. Actually, there was a lot of people there, and we just kind of had some nice, fun conversation tonight. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, I am here to do just like a little bit of an update with you guys in terms of how do you say? This endeavor with tarot, right? You know, you guys see me do lots of readings and like different kinds of themes and things like that. And I'm switching things up on purpose for a reason. I want to look at things from a different angle. If you looked at my last reading, you probably saw in the description box and heard me make mention of some energy work that I gotten done, and about balance and perspective and things like that. And so this is a little bit of an update of, or commercial, if you will, of probably what's going to be the next tarot reading. Okay, I would like to do a reading regarding the lessons that we feel like we've learned about ourselves, right? The growth. I don't know if you guys can see me good here. Ooh, can you see me? Hello, hello. Is it me you're looking for? Yeah, but you know, and here's why. Let me explain why, what I mean here, and where I'm going. Typically, we see in our tarot readings, you know, maybe things we're challenged with, struggling with relationally, things people have done, you know, or that hurt us or whatever. But rarely do we see a reading with the theme being, so how have I grown? How have I grown? Right? How have I grown? What lessons have I learned about me? Not about nobody else. Not about, you know, how we typically say, oh, I need to learn to not be as trusting. You know, that's just an example. And I don't mean that. I mean, when we start doing shadow work, a shadow work tarot reading, maybe that's what I should call it. When we start doing shadow work, that's us looking at us. That's us looking at our own tendencies, but lovingly. My desire is to bring love into it, to bring acceptance into it, to bring like observation detached from a need to have a label or judgment, yet fully engaging and owning what it is. Let me give you an example. Let's say as a part of your shadow work, you realize that you're passive aggressive. That's a part of your shadow. And it came out perhaps in the last job or relationship, and having the tarot reading spread based on that, and to gauge how willing are we to grow and change. How, you know, where are we energetically in terms of our openness to self-reflect, our openness to look at our own shadow, and lovingly accept it instead of resisting it, just looking at it and going, okay, like an observation, looking at it and going, without no judgment. And if tears or anger or whatever, like, okay, like this is what I do. When I get triggered in life or in this kind of situation, this is how I would generally respond. And if it's not high vibrational or loving in nature for all involved, it's probably the ego and shadow work. It's the bruised ego child, inner child reacting, right? And so I wanted to come on just to say that's what I'm really meditating on and thinking about doing. I'm going to see how the guidance comes through. And it was inspired today by a conversation that I had with somebody that they wanted to go out on a date, possibly with me. I hadn't, gone out with them before, and I still haven't, technically speaking, with this person. But the conversation that we had not triggered me, but it kind of provoked me. Like, because you guys know how we do when we're single. Think about this. You're dating, you're getting back out there, right? What's that process like? People typically got something to say terribly bad about everybody other than themselves. Right? It was everybody's fault. Everybody's the big fat meanie. All of my exes from Texas. Everybody is bad. Everybody's evil. I should have saw the writing on the wall that they were evil and that they were using me. But it's deeper than that. And that's what I mean by that. It's not just that. That's not shadow work. That's not healing. You can say that's an aspect of it. But when we're really looking at shadow, we're not just looking at the part where we're the victim, or the part where we have been, the martyr, right? Angel with halos and wings that's just been badly taken advantage of, which I can't deny. Most of us have been. But that's not the only thing that has happened. We have co-created these realities, whether we're accepting this or not. We have developed tendencies from our bruised inner child, right? That responds and reacts in ways that are not high vibrational, which is shadow work. It has nothing to do with the other person. A beautiful soul sister, I'm claiming her as my soul sister, but she is a person who's done energy work for me here recently, very powerfully, and she went above and beyond that. I mean, she didn't stop at just the service she gave. She took initiative to check in on me. She was intense and in detail with the service that she did provide on video recording and things like that to help me. She was just very involved, and I appreciate her for that. Lee, I appreciate you for this more than you probably ever know. But she mentioned how, I lost my train of thought. She was saying that, gosh, it was just there. With the inner child, with, the reactions and things like that when we're triggered, we can't control what other people do or say. And, if somebody's going to treat you right or not, if they're going to be honorable or not, if they're going to be of integrity, if they're going to own their shit, if they're going to ever own their shit, if they're going to ever do right by you. But what we can do, as she was saying, is we can, whether we believe it or not, we can choose our response. Internally as well as externally. But that takes shadow work. It takes not resisting, just sitting in it and sitting with it, breathing through things before reacting, to keep our vibration in neutrality or in our high heart. And then, that's when we know, that's how we can start gauging our growth, right? Because tit for tat, that's not growth. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's not growth. If you're with somebody that was, infidelity in your relationship, so what you're gonna cheat to, that's gauging you, where you are, right? The statements of I did that because they did, well, that just shows where you are currently. in your vibration, in your development. You're still in low frequency. And what my heart desire is with Bloom From Within Love, and anything that I do, I'm sorry you guys, anything that I do is to merge it with what I really believe, okay? And to merge it with what can be most helpful. Because at the end of the day, if we're harping on and focusing on, trust me, just trust me on this, you guys. I've said in this, so I can relate. If we're harping on, even as it relates to our usage of tarot, if we're spending the majority of time talking about they good for nothing asses, okay, so first of all, we're judging them. So now we're going to connect to that energy. This is what people don't understand about this. Now we're attaching a judgment. Now we're going to link up with that energy. If we're constantly looking at the negative aspects, you know, then we're always projecting outward in terms of what's wrong with everybody else. That's a part of the problem. Part of the problem in society is that that's what we tend to do most of the time. It's always someone else. It's always someone else's fault. It's always them. It's always they did this or they didn't do that. They said this, they didn't say that. You know, projecting, right? So with that being said, the next tarot reading, if I feel so led, I'm going to meditate on it. I'm going to make sure I'm going to connect to my high heart and see what kind of spread I can come up with for this. I don't want to really call it shadow work tarot. I'd rather call it something along the lines of, this is how I've grown, or how have I grown? And, you know, we can specify if we want to use it relationally, like if it's about relationships, if it's about jobs and careers, we can put it into different categories and gauge it and maybe lay it out, you know, like have a certain kind of layout. I don't want to get into details about all that yet. I want you guys to be surprised. But that is kind of where I'm going, and I'm hoping that it's going to just help us all to like sit back, calmly, lovingly, connect with our higher self, God, how we resonate, and say, okay, this is not about looking outside of myself. This reading is not going to have anything to do with looking at Joe Blow or Evil Wicked Witch of the West employer, you know what I'm saying? That was horrible. And I'm not denying these realities. Trust me, I'm not doing that, because it's real. We experience these things. It's real in terms of, it's real to us. But what I'm starting to learn and realize on my journey is that it stemmed, we co-created these experiences. And it stemmed from something within. It stemmed from a traumas, you know, it stemmed from Akashic records, it stemmed from ancestral, galactic even, you know, lifetimes often that we're carrying, okay? And as we start to deal with that, you all hear me talk about getting energy work done, Reiki, light language, Pelua, and that's what I had done here recently. Changed my life. Changed my life. So my Akashic records were accessed to deal with that, as well as the ethers, my etheric fields. Changed everything. And it still is. Is it all perfect? No, that's not where perfect is an illusion anyway. Perfect in our imperfection. Yeah, so I know I'm kind of like rambling a little bit, and I'm sorry about that, but this next tarot read is going to be all about us. It's going to be about us. It's not going to be about the ex. It's not going to be about baby mama, baby daddy. It's not going to be about all the jealous haters that are there. I'm not going to deny that. But we're not going to focus on that. You give away power. The more we focus on certain things, it's energetically speaking, if that makes sense. Law of attraction, the law of universe dictates that. Whatever we want to put emphasis on, whatever we want to concentrate on, it's not about denying reality. It's about an intentional choice to shift. Because what can you do about an external person's behavior? Can you make them not be jealous of you? By being overly aware and focusing on that, can you make them not be jealous? You can know someone's jealous and still shift your energy. And this is something I'm learning. You can know someone's insecure and putting out hate energy and still raise in your energy and be in neutral and be in your high heart. You can still go and still consciously choose to say within and with your whole energy and with the help of your guidance team, your higher version of you and your guidance team to say, shh. And only you know when you can get there, because sometimes it is a process, okay? So lovingly accepting wherever we are in that too, right? However, this next reading, like I said, the theme is going to be us. That's it, us. How have we grown? What have we learned? What have we changed and developed or evolved into about ourselves? Have we looked at our shadow? Have we looked at our inner child bruising? Have we, period, point blank? And it's to gauge where we really are versus where we think we are. We use tarot to gauge energy. And so we're going to use it in the same way towards us, specifically in our growth and our development and our looking at our own crap. It's easy to look outward. It's easy to see something wrong with someone else. I've always said this, even when I was on like this organized religious journey path, I've always said this. This is some many years back. If you guys know anything about nose blindness, like the phenomenon nose blindness and why that happens, right? And how that works. And so if you're in an environment and like, let's say it's like super dirty and stinky and icky, but you've been in that environment so long, you develop a level of nose blindness eventually, depending on how long you sit in there. You may smell it, but it may be faint. Someone who's not been in that environment will come in and it's going to be pungent and it's going to hit them because they have not been in that environment. So it's easy for an outsider to come in and smell everything horribly bad about what's in that environment. Likewise, everything in life, it's easy externally to look outside of yourself and see what's wrong with everything and everyone else. It's not so easy to be able to identify your own garbage, for lack of better words. Okay? It's not that easy. It takes a very deep, in-tuned person to be able to gauge that. Somebody who's been practicing self-reflection for a very long time. For them to be able to like, man, I was straight snappy. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? And not try to normalize it like it's regular and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to really sit and go, you know what, that was not kind of cool at all. I don't want to be mad at myself or beat myself up. But at the same time, I also don't want to pretend. Because that's not the answer either. We want to be loving parents, as Lee would say, loving to ourselves, but that means you still have to look at the shit and call your own shit. Forget about calling everybody else's shit. Forget about calling the ex's shit. Forget about causing your crazy family shit. Forget about calling your crazy boss's shit. Do they got shit? Yeah. I ain't denying that. But it ain't about that though. Letting go of the judgment, because in essence, everything outside of us is a reflection. It's a mirror. It's it is something to show you either where you're lacking, what you have judged about yourself, what you have failed to face in terms of, if you're not loving and accepting yourself, then you're gonna get mirror reflections of people who are hating you. Oh, that one was heavy. Oh, yep. That's inner child work right there. That's shadow work, because it's a belief system. It's something that you're not looking at. And so because of that in your energy, the universe is reflecting it back in your experiences. You're co-creating it. You're co-creating it. That's where I'm going with all this. That's why my desire is to focus on us in this next reading. And I think it's going to be a powerful one. I think it's going to be a life-shifting one if we want it to be, if we engage with it that way. Because now that's you taking your power back. That's you owning your life and saying, hey, this did happen, you know, but I'm going with them. Because this is how change is going to begin. You can't change others. Neither should we want to. Right? That's not even love. People have to go their paths and journeys the way they want. The only thing that we can do is change us, or rather allow us to be. Allow that unfolding and facing those things and integrating those things, right? All right, that's all I wanted to say. I hope you all are doing well this morning or tonight. I got to get going now because I've been up quite a while, and it's been a very interesting day and interesting night. And yeah, but I'm excited. I'm hoping I get to do this tomorrow. We'll see how the guidance comes in. I certainly hope so, because I think it's just going to be, I think it's going to be phenomenal for most of us. All right, sending you guys love and light. Take care of yourself. All right, namaste.